David Davis, as I say, is joining us now, Conservative MP, former Shadow Home Secretary. Good morning to you, Mr. Davis.
Good morning.
One thing that people may have forgotten about you is, of course, that you served in the SAS, in the territorial unit of the SAS. I can imagine someone who is serving now who might say to you, if we don't have this fight against IS, what on earth is the point of the British Armed Forces?
Well, any fight you take on's got to have an end. And you've got to know where it's going to end. And actually, we know less about the end of this one than we did about Libya, or we believe we did about Libya, or indeed the Iraq war. We have no idea what sort of country Syria and Iraq are going to be, who's going to run them, how it's going to be organised. And we have no idea of what sort of army we're going to have on the ground. The 70,000 that David Cameron talked about is a bunch of disparate people all over the country. It's not an army. And we need armed forces on the ground if we're going to win this.
But you could make precisely that argument, couldn't you, against bombing IS in Iraq? We don't know the end game. We don't have ground forces. There's the Iraq army, of course. Are you suggesting that actually that's a mistake as well?
Well, nominally, I actually abstained on that, but nominally the Iraq army is 350,000 people and 650,000 police there. So there's a million security forces in Iraq on the payroll. There's nothing like that in Syria, nothing at all. And we haven't even decided how we're going to cope with the Syrian army, the real Syrian army.
So you see this as not just a sort of technical change in the way the Defence Secretary is saying it, well, we currently bomb on one side of a border, let's bomb on the other. You see this potentially as the opening of a new and dangerous war.
Well, it is the opening of a new element of the war. I mean, I sympathise with Mike Fallon's view that the border is pretty hard to find in that, and that our enemy can move backwards and forwards across it. But we're not just talking about hot pursuit here, which is what that would be. We're talking about going in and bombing with the RAF. Now, how much that will amount to is debatable. The Americans today run 7 strikes a day, maximum. You know, why? Because they haven't got any targets, because they've got nobody on the ground to find the target. So what we're going to do, I don't know, but we are supposedly committing ourselves to an air campaign.
Now, we heard the numbers from Laura. She thinks about 10 Conservatives agree with you. Do you agree with that? And if it's the case, by the way, if Labour were united opposing those airstrikes, David Cameron would probably never have called this vote.
That's right. I think the thing that's triggered this has been Jeremy Corbyn's decision to have a free vote on this, the Labour Party's disunity, however you want to put it. That's what's given David Cameron a guaranteed majority.
But nevertheless, is there a bit of you, and it would be a surprising thing for you, that says hats off to Jeremy Corbyn? He's stood his ground, he's made his case, I broadly agree with him on this, and Parliament and democracy is better for it.
He is new politics in at least one sense. He's giving everybody the right to say, and frankly, to be honest, actually, this is a matter of life and death. You actually can't whip an issue like this.
David Davis, thank you very much indeed.